Okay, so I'll just start by saying, yeah, there are obviously some advantages to standardization in terms of execution of the project. I mean, you could argue that it's a lot cheaper to just repeat the same design or the same prototype over time, and it probably be a lot faster to replicate them, given that you've already done something similar before, so you can take on the lessons learned and experience from that and just execute it better and faster in the subsequent one. But I quite agree that it's stifles originality and creativity because I believe architecture of the profession, the whole essence of architecture is to be able to provide solutions that are unique and that are contextual. So I think it's important to be able to create designs that speak specifically to the specifics of the project at hand. So for instance, if a client want me to design a duplex for him, for instance, I'm not just going to look in my archives and just look at a design that is similar in the past and just give it to him. I mean, it's to help to understand the specific of this particular project. First of all, what's the size of the site, what are the site context, also what are the things that the clients in particular want in the design, what are what are the design considerations for this particular thing. So at the end of the day, the client wants to have it, be happy to have a design that is unique, that doesn't look like what is out there or what is someone else has done and all of that. So I think architecture should be site specific and then it should be contextual. It should be in the context of the specifics of whatever it is that is being worked on at that particular time. So yeah, I agree with you that it stifles originality, despite of the advantage of standardization. I think standardization should be used more in industries and manufacturing and product design, but architecture really, by the nature of it, should not really be in one size fits all thing. So it should actually be a more creative endeavor. Construction documentation is an important part of the design process and is very key to what we do at ATO Architect. So basically, to just summarize it, is actually the point of the design process where we ensure that our buildings are detailed enough and then we've had enough information for them to be buildable. So it's basically bringing to life all our beautiful concepts and make them buildable and then with enough information for them to build. I think an important part of this process is also the coordination that goes into the drawing. So basically at this point, before the final documentation is issued out, we coordinate with all the consultants on the project, which are typically the structural engineer, the mechanical engineer, the electrical engineer, and then some other specialist consultants, depending on the complexity of each project. So basically, at this point of the documentation, we are doing a sort of a class detection and then seeing, overlaying their drawings on our drawings and seeing how that works or how they coordinate. So for instance, if the structural engineer have done his beam and column layouts, I can overlay it on our own architectural layout. I can start to see whether there is conflict or whether he's put a column in a way that will affect the intended use of the spaces. So we are able to quickly flag that up early before it gets to site because it's a lot easier to deal with issues when they are still on drawing table than having to deal with issues on site. So basically, it's a very important role because not being considering documentation properly, you usually have implications for the project, especially when it's on site. Implication in terms of the quality, in terms of cost, and in terms of the time for the delivery of the project. So it's a very important role, and it's a role we take very seriously at ATO Architects. I'm privileged to be able to champion and coordinate the construction documentation department of the office. Okay, thank you very much. I mean, it's a good thing you already mentioned BIM. I think BIM is a very important tool, especially for the role that I take in the office. BIM embodies construction documentation. It makes documentation, and the entire coordination process. It makes it a lot easier because it doesn't really tie in all the project information and everything that all the consultant drawings and all of that. So it makes it easier to be able to coordinate. So definitely it's a lot easier with technology like BIM and innovation like BIM. It's a lot easier to deliver projects on site that are well coordinated and properly documented and done efficiently as well too, because it can do it more timely and more efficient using BIM than traditional ways of like using CAD or AutoCAD or the other ways that drawings were produced in the past. But away from BIM, one other key way that I feel technology could help in the concept design stage, for instance, I think it's the communication of ideas to clients. Really, one thing I've noticed from my experience is for most clients, they really do not understand drawings, or they can't really like imagine space like the way we would think they would, or the way to be able to tell, read the drawings that we have issued to them. So that's why most sometimes you will see in some instances some clients will sign up for the drawing that you are giving them and say, oh, this is fine. And then the project gets to site and then they start saying things like, oh, this is how small my room is, or this is how large my room is, and all of that. Because they can't really like imagine it until they actually see it in on site, or they can see it tangibly or in front of them really. So I think one way that technology could help with that is the use of technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality, for instance. With those kind of technology, you are able to simulate and like sort of like experience virtual in your space. So you can imagine wearing an edge gear, for instance, and then you can just be in your space by just wearing that gear, and then you can literally walk through your space and just experience that space as if you are actually in a physical space. So with stuff like that, it will make the entire back and forth that happen at the concept stage a lot easier to deal with, because that way the clients can quickly make informed decisions because they can actually really imagine the space almost like it's physically built already. So they can quickly decide whether this is what they want or whether they would like to use the space differently. So I think augmented reality and virtual reality are very important tools that we can explore in the concept stage of the design. Then there are obviously a lot more technology tools that can be explored, but I think that those are the ones that really jump to my head at this time. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll just really chip in that, well, I'm relatively new in ATO architect, well, relatively. But in that the time that I've been here, I've been privileged to work on quite a diverse project. I mean, I've done a couple of bank renovations, interior designs, exterior revamp for some couple of banks projects for different banks and different branches. I've also been able to work on some hotel design as well, to different scale of hotel designs. I've done some residential designs as well. I've been able to work on a laboratory. I've done some office fit out. I've also been able to work on a church design, which was interestingly like the first time I'm working on the church design of that scale. So it was a very great learning curve for me. So yeah, I mean, in this short time, I've been able to work on quite a diverse range of projects, if you will call it that. Interestingly, I mean, this might come as a surprise. One project that actually wants that I look forward to is mass housing. I mean, housing in the sense of affordable housing and houses that different social class can actually be able to afford and live in. I mean, I think this is a bit personal for me because I've always, as a young architect, I've always been looking at ways where I can contribute to solving Nigeria's housing situation. So about 10 years ago, I did a thesis on the challenges to providing affordable housing to Nigeria. At that time, I found out a housing shortage of about 15 million dwellings. And now in 2021, the situation is even a lot worse. We are like more than 20 million short in terms of dwelling units. So it's a very big problem that we have in our hands. The thing with housing problem is it's never isolated. It also comes with other problems like health, like security, transportation, and all of that. So I believe as architects, we should be able to we have a sort of a social obligation to be able to contribute to using our expertise to solve problems, societal problems, apart from just making money or designing luxurious and profitable projects. We should also look at ways we can also give back in a sort of way and actually contribute to solving an actual problem that we have. So yeah, I mean, it's something I'm really interested in working in, but I also understand that the housing problem is multifaceted in the sense that it's not just up to you as an architect. So there's a lot that has to go into it. There's a lot of engineering, material, innovation, and research, even government policies and all of that needs to go into it to get houses that are truly affordable. But then I will look forward to being a part of a project that will really like tackle this whole housing issue in the nearest future, I hope. So yeah, it's something I'm quite passionate about, and I hope to do at some point. Apart from housing, one other project that I would really like to work on is the stadium design. So so as a sports fan, I mean, I'm a sport. I like sports, and I like football in particular. I've always, as a fan, I always imagined the role of that stadium plays in performance of teams. Really, I mean, we talk about stadium atmosphere and the way stadiums are designed and how they contribute to motivate the fans and the players as well. So I mean, I would like to just bring in to for all of that and design a stadium that I can feel a part of and actually use it to help create the right atmosphere for sport performance. So yeah, I would like to do a stadium at some point. So I've never really worked on one. I mean, I've done some at some school project and all of that, but I like to work on a live project at some point. So yeah, those two are part of the ones that I really would like to work on. But then of course I'm always open to work on diverse projects. I like to try out new things and challenge myself on new projects, diversity. Yeah, thank you very much.